Great to reconnect with a really an accompanist and also a leader in his own right. He's played with a lot of shaman musicians. John Lee Sanders, welcome back to the Jake Feinberg Show.
Thank you, Jake. Man, it's been a pleasure always, and last time, very good, man.
Yeah, man, it was great. Now, I question. So, I mean, I saw you guys. I think I saw Uncle Rainbow do a version of Spanka Lee, the Headhunters tune.
Yeah, from Herbie Hancock.
Like, when did you start? I mean, that I have been living off this live version of that from like '74. But did you see those cats live play that?
Yes, I did. I think they came. I think they came to Denton or Dallas. One year around the 1973. Yeah, they did. It was during the Headhunters album. Yeah.
What was that music like to experience it live? Obviously, it like had a huge impact on you guys, but like, how did you? And you were playing, I think, sax on the tune that it was a live version of Spanka Lee.
I was playing live. Yeah, there's a version of it we did on a reunion.
Yes.
Back in our lead singer needed a liver transplant, and we had a reunion. And I don't think he was supposed to sing, but he flew in and he did it. So there was you can find it on YouTube, I believe.
No, and like what was it like to? Was that music that you sort of just fell into comfortably, sort of where it's just one like kind of dropping the bar lines and just the one long groove?
Yeah, we did Spanka Lee like most of our sets. We did so many different covers. I mean, but yeah, Spanka Lee was. Was it on the Headhunters album? I think it was. Yeah.
No, it was on. There's a live version of it on Flood, which was. But I mean the one that I'm looking at from Germany. I mean, they just Mike Clark and Paul Jackson just sort of start this groove, and the rest of the band comes in, and Bill Withers is playing the African whistle, and I mean they were off to the races. You know, Benny Maupin just blowing.
Benny Maupin, yeah, that was the sax player. Yeah,
he was a great player. Did you? Can you just talk about your concept of that music? Like for you, was that? Did you? It's not like overly complex by any means, but you do have to let the body dance in order to play that music.
Yeah, I mean, it became more of a jam for us. I mean, we could stretch out for 10 minutes on that song, and that was a lot of our set. We did it on the reunion, and I think the organ player for Tower of Power, he came in.
Roger Smith,
yeah, and we did it in Sacramento on the live DVD, and raised some money for our singer, who was in need of a liver transplant. Roger
was in a band called Blind Melon. Did you know those cats when you were in Dallas?
That was before my time. I met Roger after when Uncle Rainbow was playing around Sacramento.
Right. No, I just interviewed him. I met him in person. I met him in person and did an interview with him a couple weeks ago when Tower was up in Scottsdale. And then I'm like, wait a minute. John Lee and Roger, they crossed over, man, because I saw that live clip of Spanka Lee, and you guys were burning.
Oh, it was fun. It was a pretty good recording. And I was playing saxophone on that, and Brett Bourgeois was playing piano. And there were two drummers, David Perper and George Lawrence. We all came back together for the reunion.
Perper was in that band.
Yes, he was. He replaced George Lawrence, who I grew up with in Mississippi, and we went to North Texas together.
Wow, George Lawrence.
George Lawrence was great.
Who is this cat, man?
George Lawrence, he stayed in the band for about 2 years, and then he started doing sessions in L.A. And was and a real in-demand drummer in this time, yeah. And then he moved back to Nashville. Now he's in Memphis.
But I want to talk about the early days of you and Lawrence. Like, what kind of was he, like a Max Roach, Elvin kind of cat, or was he a rock, like a Zeppelin? I mean, where did he fall in terms of his style, and how did you guys? What was the first band you guys were in?
He was a funk drummer, and I mean he could play everything. He played in Poco after he went to Nashville. I mean he played in all kinds of bands, but the first time I met George Lawrence, we grew up in Jackson, and then I moved to Monroe. But the first time I met him, we were playing a theater production of Raisin and the Sun in the pit orchestra. Wow. And that's how I met him. And so we hit it off, and then we joined Uncle Rainbow together. And yeah.
That early incarnation of Uncle Rainbow, you guys were, but he could play, Weather Spain or Weather Report. He could play fusion music too, even though he had a natural funk pocket.
Yeah. He played a lot like Jeff Porcaro.
Yeah.
Before he passed away. In fact, yeah, that was. I don't know if you met Jeff Porcaro.
No, I met it. I knew his dad actually, Joe. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, also his name doesn't. When did he became a studio cat in L.A. or Nashville?
He became a studio cat in L.A.
Because I don't recognize his name along with all the other cats that were doing the session work at that. Maybe I just. I'm curious about him a lot, but going back.
We kind of lost track when David Purple joined the band, and I'm not sure all of the progression that he did, and then I think he moved back home to deal with some things, and then he moved to Nashville, and I think that's how he got the gig with Poco, and I had a lot of sessions in Nashville, and now he's in Memphis and he teaches. And
Purper's I love David Purper, man. He played in one of the sickest bands called City Section in San Francisco. They were trying to do sort of an offshoot of what Toto was doing, kind of being that rhythm section. It was Purper, David Morgan on bass, Alex Litcherwood on vocals, Jerry Cortez on guitar, and Nate Ginsburg on keyboards, Purper on drums, and they were smoking band. So yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, I played in a band about a year that when Uncle Rainbow broke up, and David Purple was the drummer, and Nate Ginsburg was the keyboard player. We had two keyboard players along with me, and Nate was a great player.
Well, yeah, no. Talk about because you would either go off and play sax or something like that, or like if he was playing keys, or would he do synthesizers and you would do piano?
Yeah, we had two keyboards, and I would trade off on sax, and it was great. Having two keyboards was great. It was a great idea. Just to fill the section out and everything.
Absolutely.
And Nate was a much better keyboard player than I was at the time. But I had progressed, over the years, and could play a lot of different things now. But back then I was a good piano player. Yeah.
Were you kind of like? Do you feel like? How have you grown over time as a musician? Not that you were faking it before, but you just think that. Did you start to play in different settings? Did you feel like you were faking it till you make it kind of thing?
No, I was covering all the parts, but I progressed vocally. My lead singer was a guy named Richard Osing, and he could just belt it out. He had a great range and everything. But I started doing every recording session I could get my hands on, and doing demos and all that. And I think it changed. Vocally, I became a much better singer,
Hmm.
and got the range. I started studying with a woman named Carrie Sheldon, who studied from Seth Riggs, the voice teacher in L.A.
Yeah.
That taught Michael Jackson and all, Stevie Wonder and all these people. But she was a student of him, and she taught this. It's called speech level singing, and I got a bigger range and all that, and got a recording set up so I could record any time of day or night. So and just it increased my vocal range and just the whole tonal quality of everything.
So, but with the vocal range increasing by nature, then your ears get bigger, right?
I always had a very good ear, but yeah, I mean it's. I think it's just.
I guess you can hear deeper into the music. You can just because of the newfound range, so to speak.
Yeah, the newfound range, and also, I mean, to be able to have a recording setup, with a great microphone and all that. I mean, and I had unlimited studio time.
Right.
So I could just I could go back and finally get to where I wanted to sound. And
I have to ask you this though. This is really I want you to take me through this interesting period. I never went to this bar, but I'm fascinated with it. It brought in all kinds of different music, but you were the house band at the Saddle Rack in San Jose. And I want you to tell, because that to me, the fact that you were in San Jose is so badass. And how did you get there? And tell me about the Saddle Rack. I think Garcia Band played there in Jerry Garcia played there in 83.
Oh, really?
He did. That's what was on this, and just making that trip down from. But you had Oakland and Bay, you had San Francisco, Santa Cruz, San Jose. So, floor is yours.
Yeah, I think I joined. It was called the Saddle Rack Riders, and I was on piano, and digital pianos hadn't progressed that well, and. There was a Yamaha CP70. I didn't have one, but I bought one of the first digital pianos. It was very expensive. And,
wow.
So we had a pedal steel guitar player named Bruce Kaplan, who I still work with. Great producer. One of the best pedal steel players in the country.
Wow, man! I got to talk to that cat, man.
You should.
Wait, hold on. You had one of the because those was 81 was the first synthetic pianos, but they still translated over to sound a lot like an acoustic.
Well, the first one I think was Kurzweil.
Right.
Right. And one of the first guys that had it, I think, was Paul Schaefer. He could afford one on the late night.
Right.
But I bought a cheaper version of it. It was called a 360 system, and. Funny story. We were playing one of these outdoor barbecues at Silicon Valley.
Wow!
It was we had the red checkered tablecloths and the hay bales and all that. The country theme, and I'm getting sidetracked here, but
no, it's great.
It was called God, what was the name of the company?
I don't know. Apple.
No, I wish. It was called. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a huge one, and they had the contract to design the chips for the Star Wars program, from Reagan.
Wow! Oh, wow!
With the Pentagon, they had a lot of different contracts, but it was a military contract, and anyway, my keyboard, my digital keyboard, went out, and it started making sounds like a chainsaw. It was and I couldn't play the gig. I had to shut it down, and I called tech support, and it was from L.A. and it said, "Oh, you got to send this back to the factory." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, we got a bunch of bad chips from Silicon. God, now I can't remember the name. This big, huge company." And what was the name?
Like Hewlett Packard.
Yeah, they're like one of the big ones.
Yeah,
I mean, it was one
right.
They make computer chips. Anyway, I went back on stage, and I told. I was pissed off at this time, because I couldn't play the gig.
Right.
And I said, well, the reason I can't play this keyboard right now is because we're playing for the company that designed the keyboard chips, and we got some bad ones. So anyway, that was the company we were playing for. Strangely enough. Anyway.
Well, no, that's the fascinating part, is that during the early 80s, early Reagan, there was the beginning tech boom in that area. That's when and it dawned on me, like, here you have like Star Wars, military industrial complex, early 80s, still psychedelicized, peninsula, and you get like that San Jose. I remember my cousin was out working for, I think it was Hewlett Packard or one of those companies, San Jose.
Yeah. I think it was in Santa Clara, but
yeah.
That's but just the irony of that situation. That I can play the hay bales and the tablecloths and the whole the beer bash. But that band.
Who else was in the band?
Let's see. There was two different. There was a couple of different fiddle players. There was a guy named Fingers, and he would play "Devil Went Down to Georgia."
Yeah. And
then he would drink some 151 rum and shoot fire from his mouth. He was a great fiddle player.
That is great, man.
There was a drummer named Jim Ed Wade. Let's see, who else was in the band? A couple of different girl singers.
So was it essentially country, western, psychedelic kind of music?
It was. I mean, we played everything. We played Motown, Stax,
wow,
line dancing, old fiddle tunes, Leonard Skinner, all that kind of stuff. Everything, all of the above. But it was mainly country, and they would come. We would have big name acts come in every couple of weeks, and we'd open for them. And it was packed. I mean, they would draw like 2,000 people. There were two different stages, and one band would start, and then the next hour another band would start on different stages.
How many floors was it?
How many what?
How many floors?
Oh, just one floor.
It was just one floor, but a huge space. Yeah.
Huge stage, and they had a mechanical bull and all that stuff. Yeah, it was like the urban cowboy rage at the time.
When did you? How did you wind up there?
You know what? Uncle Rainbow broke up. We had a long story. We were being produced by Nard and Michael Walden.
Really?
Yeah, man, it was great. Before that, we were being produced by Jimmy Horowitz, who I'll go into later. Yeah. Jimmy Horowitz was the producer of Rod Stewart and Long John Baldry.
Sure.
Who I toured with for almost 20 years. I didn't have a gig. I was just freelancing around the Bay Area, and got a call from a saddle rack, and it was good money at the time, and so I had to work and everything.
Well, I got to hear about this. Nard is a dear friend and a big supporter of mine. Like, what you guys were? What were you? He didn't have Tarpan Studios then, did he?
No, he was recording at the Automat.
David Rubinson.
David Rubinson, and which I didn't know at the time. My bass player, Larry Tagg, went in to make some dubs of some cassettes to send out to record companies and all that. And Narda peeked his head in the door and said, "Oh, who is this band?" And he said, and it was Uncle Rainbow. And I said, "Oh, I got to meet you guys." He wanted to meet me. I was the main songwriter of the band, And so I ended up going up over to his house on Masonic near Golden Gate Park, I think it was.
Where was it?
It was, he had a house on Masonic, I believe, near the Haight-Ashbury.
Sure.
Yeah. And he wanted to get the songs ready to produce. And so I went to his house about a month, for about maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And so, because I was the main songwriter, and he wanted to get the songs ready to record, and so I think he was putting out his own money, or David Rubinson was. I can't remember. I didn't know the whole deal, but he produced us, and he brought in John Kalogner from Geffen.
Wow, I don't know that. That's so. They saw. I just want to be clear. They saw this. Their vision was that this was going to be some kind of potential crossover hit on album-oriented radio, or they wanted to get a hit out there?
Oh, of course they wanted to get a hit, but FM radio. And this was kind of a strange time. Disco had just hit, and I think it was before MTV.
Right. But you're talking like 79, 80?
79, 80.
Yeah. Weird time, definitely.
And record companies were laying off a lot of people, and they didn't know what direction they wanted to go.
Well, but I mean, Rubinson, I've interviewed him twice. Fred Catero, Narda. I mean, those guys had a certain aesthetic. What did they see in you guys that prompted them to invest this much time?
I think he wanted an R&B funk pop band,
right?
And but his vision, I think, was a little too slick for my taste. But I wanted to get a record deal at all costs, and Narda wanted to play drums on the album, and he wanted to bring in Randy Jackson, which I was on the fence on. And
what was he wanted? I'm sorry. What did he envision Randy's role being?
Randy, Larry Tide was an amazing bass player, but he wanted Randy Jackson on bass, and he wanted to play drums rather than David Perper. And I hope I'm right on this, but yeah, it eventually broke the band up. Really, I mean, it was really sad. I mean, they were a kick-ass band. I think.
Wow, that's fascinating. That, except not surprising that. Maybe he saw it. It's like have his kid, be the producer, but still wanted to be part of the musical action as well. And yeah, that's you guys just looked at it collectively, and where did you come down? You're like, if my boys can't record, I'm not into it. But you're saying was there disagreements within the band?
I think if we would all put our foot down and say, no, we got a sound, we have this live thing, everything. Looking back, I mean, you can't go back, but I think if we'd have put our foot down and said, no, let's go for the original sound that we have, But we ended up forming another band with Steph Burns, Richard Brooks, the original lead singer, David Perper, and Nate.
Wow.
And
what was the name of this band?
It was called 360.
Yeah. Holy cow.
And I don't think there's any great tapes of it, but the band lasted about a year, and the lead singer Richard Brooks moved back to Dallas, and that's how I got the gig at the Saddle Rack. I had to work and everything.
Right.
It was a fun band.
Did you have early on at the Saddle Rack, or even at that point, were certain blues or country acts coming in looking to pick up rhythm sections, and would you back up certain lead cats as well?
No, they were self-contained people all at this time, but I got a call from Jimmy Horowitz, Jimmy Horowitz was producer of Dusty Springfield and a lot of great acts in England. And he was the head of the record company where Uncle Rainbow signed. We got an $80,000 budget that got shelved. And long story.
Whoa! What?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Was this was part of the NARDA thing that fell apart?
No, this was around 1978, 79.
All right.
I get the years a little bit mixed up, but we were playing in San Diego at a club. I think maybe it was a disco, and they had live music also. But the sound man made a board tape just off the mixing board and sent it to a friend of his named Ian Samwell, who produced America. You know the horse with no name.
Wow.
And all that.
Yeah.
And he gave the tape to Jimmy Horowitz, who produced Long John Baldry and Elton John, and he was an English producer, Dusty Springfield. And he fell in love with the band, and we set up a meeting up in San Jose, I think, and negotiated and everything. And we cut a bunch of demos, a few more demos in Monterey.
Wow.
And long story short, we got an $80,000 budget. I don't know where the money went, but but that's and we got a good album. And
wait. I mean, so in the process of cutting these demos, you guys weren't getting a per diem or a place to stay. Like you never saw that money.
No, we didn't know.
You didn't even know you. Yeah. Maybe it was just.
It's a long story. I mean, we didn't actually see the money. I mean, it was doled out to studios and salaries and all that kind of thing. And some of it went missing. I mean, I'm sure it was probably accounted for in some way, but hey. But we cut this album in about a month, maybe 6 weeks, and we were also gigging on the weekends also. But anyway, through that connection from Jimmy Horowitz, I got a call, I think it was 1986, and Jimmy wanted me to come up to Vancouver to record an album by Long John Baldry. You know Long John Baldry?
Yeah, you know who I interviewed that played with him way back when was Brian Auger.
Oh, Brian, yeah. Yes. But, yeah, Brian Auger.
I'm not overly familiar with all of his records, but yeah, I sure do know who he is.
Okay. He was, they call him the father of the British blues.
Wow.
And and at one time he had Rod Stewart and his band, and he discovered Elton John, and a lot of people. He was
very heavy. I mean, obviously a very heavy person.
Oh yeah, he was 6'7".
Wow.
And I came up to Vancouver and did all the sax parts. I stayed up there for a couple of weeks and recording this album. Great horn parts, I think. And I'll send you something.
Yeah.
But and then went back to Bay Area. He asked me to go on tour with him, so I ended up staying with him. Probably, touring with him until about 2003. Off and on in Europe, Canada, Australia, everywhere.
How big a band was that?
Between 4-piece and 7-piece, yeah. The biggest tour we had, I think we had 2 horn players, including me, 2 or 3 girl singers. There was a woman singer named Kathy McDonald, who was amazing.
Kathy McDowell?
Kathy McDonald.
Oh yeah, I've seen her records. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, ferocious singer.
Yeah, she was great. I mean, she sang with the Stones and Leanne Russell and Ike and Tina Turner and all that.
Yeah.
She was badass. She passed away in 2000.
Right. No, I've seen her. She was in the. Did you know her before that? The Long John Baldry, because she was in the Bay Area.
She was. Yeah. She took over for Janis Joplin,
Right.
and Big Brother, and a lot of those. No, I met her on a video shoot with Long John Baldry, and she recommended me to a guy named Will Porter, and I got all these oldies gigs out of Will Porter's band.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to cover, but yeah, that's but
Was Jimmy Horowitz based in the United States?
Jimmy moved to L.A. And he was president of Riva Records, the label that Uncle Rainbow signed on with.
How do you spell that? How do you spell that company?
It's spelled Riva, R-I-V-A.
Riva.
Riva Records. They put out a few. Let's see. They signed Uncle Rainbow and John Cougar Mellencamp.
Wow.
And right around the same time, and they took us to L.A. to do a lot of showcases. I think we played the Starwood Club, and to showcase all these the different record companies and everything. But we had to sign him with Riva. Yeah, he was head of the label, and was also working with Rod Stewart. He was Rod Stewart's arranger at the time. And now he's in Austin, Texas right now.
Wow. Well, I was gonna say, like, as candidly as you can, because obviously the music, comes through you, and it's part of who you are. But stepping back, if you were starting out as a young musician today, would you pursue a career in music?
Oh, in this time period now?
Yeah.
No. I'm sure I'd probably be doing some of it, but not as a career. I'd probably be doing something else.
How do you feel about the idea that, especially in the States, 1984 was the last year a live bandstand musician got a cost of living increase. And the significance of music has changed in our culture, and I wonder if you agree with that and how it's changed, because people don't see it as a full-time profession.
I heard somebody say it's become the Kardashian phase of music. Kardashianation of music.
Yeah.
People in the old times, I think people just they looked at it for what it was or how it sounded and everything. I mean, they read the album credits. They followed the musicians. Everything. I mean, now I think it's all about celebrities and all that. And
it doesn't. There's no substance there. There's just some sort of brand. It's a brand.
It's a brand. Oh, they say they went to the Elton John concert. It's kind of like they have, we started. I mean, we were playing, and we go on the weekends and play till 5 or 6 in the morning. I mean, and the after hours club.
Wow. What were the after hours? I'm curious because there was an amazing soul jazz club in San Jose. This is a little bit before your time, but there were guys like Mel Brown would drive up from L.A. and John Turk, Clifford Coulter, Ronnie Beck, and the name of the place was called Popeyes. Was that place still around when you were in San Jose?
I don't think so. Popeyes, I've heard of them. I believe maybe it was before I was.
Yeah, it was before your. And then there was a place that Levon Helm played at called in San Jose called Sam's Place.
What's it called?
Sam, the name Sam, S-A-M.
Oh, Sam's.
Yeah. Did you?
I can't remember that. That was probably before my time. Yeah.
Did you play would you take mini tour? Would you play the Golden Bear in Huntington Beach, or would you go? What kind of regional tours did you do with Uncle Rainbow?
We were mainly we would go from San Luis Obispo, Monterey, San Jose, of course, San Francisco. We had a huge following in Sacramento. That was one of our biggest following.
Really?
And when Uncle Rainbow first moved to California, we could do a week at a time, and we could go and rehearse in the club. So, I mean, we always had to do material, in the next week. We could brush up on everything. I mean, we could rehearse 3 or 4 hours a day, before the gig. But now, the club owners started booking one act at a time, one nighters, and which was kind of a drag. I mean, we had to drive so much.
Oh my gosh! I mean, so did you actually in Uncle Rainbow see like your? Because I mean, bands like yours would 10 years earlier would stay for a month in Boston, play the same club, or 2 weeks at Art Blakey would come in and play 2 weeks at the Half Note or something, or in in San Francisco, and then it became these one nighter kind of things. I mean, you guys.
Yeah, it was such a drag. I don't know where that started, but yeah, we would. I mean, Yoshi, I think, still does.
Right. Maybe 2 nights. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We. Yeah. Just travel. I mean, yeah.
Did you and your friends do a lot of communal listening to music? Do you still do that today? Music is being listened to in isolation now, as opposed to that sort of ability for people to sit around communally and listen to music.
Yeah, I think that's lost. I had a friend came down from Castles. We listened to music communally, but I mean, most people listen to on the earbuds or whatever. I mean, Wi-Fi or
sure.
Bluetooth and everything. I mean, everybody's got on the bus has got their Bluetooth, headphones and everything. Yeah, it's pretty much isolated in this time.
But in your where do you see, based on your arc of history in the racket, and then just your sort of existence, your ability to survive as a chameleon in the music industry, do you feel like there'll be a change for the better in the near future, or do you think this is going to be, because I just feel like it's never been easy, but they make it almost impossible now.
Yeah, I'm 72 now, so I'm getting up there. But I still love to play, of course. I mean, I think more of my effort is going into songwriting. I don't know the streaming part is just horrible. I mean,
right, it's criminal. Yeah,
the business will eventually eat itself. Hopefully not, but we'll see. The beast.
That's right.
I don't know. I don't know if it can sustain itself.
So it may be the only way that it comes back with a little more fairness is if it just completely dissolves, and who knows what the consequences of that are.
That and technologies, with AI, it could be very strange.
What do you still harken back to? Do you go back to New Orleans, or can you talk a little bit about your experiences in more recent years, going back to that region of the world?
Yeah, I went to school in Rome one summer.
Wow.
And it was part of the University of Louisiana in Ruston. And they leased a campus in Rome, right in the heart of Rome, and near the Colosseum. Yeah. So I went to school there for 8 weeks. I learned painting and Western civilization and all that. And I took a trip to the Montreux Jazz Festival.
Wow.
In July. And
what year was this?
That was 1973.
Holy cow! You were at Montreux 73. There's so much insane music. That was the pinnacle of fusion.
Yeah, it was. Well, I wasn't playing. I wish I was, but.
Who did you see there?
Well, I came. It was Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee. Freddie King was the headliner. It was Friday night.
That was a Montreux Blues Festival.
Well, it was yeah. I mean, there was everything. I mean, I think it lasted for about a month.
Oh my!
I mean, there were different acts every night. But on the weekend, I happened to be there. It was blues night. Sonny Terry, Brown McGee, Freddie King closed the show, and Memphis Slim and all that. And then the next night, which blew me away, it was the Meters open, and then it was Alan Toussaint, and then it's Dr. John closed the show.
Oh my God!
And then Professor Longhair, yeah, Professor Longhair.
I mean, that's who you. That's the vibe you give off, man. I mean, I never met that cat, but that is.
That's, I love that music, and I played Dr. John's gumbo, every day, 2 or 3 times a day, and all that. And I decided then and there that I wanted to play more New Orleans piano.
Right.
And so that's kind of set me on my path. I mean, I was kind of going there anyway. But
so like Toussaint would follow, but the Meters were his backup band, right?
Yeah.
So they would just play the whole show.
The Meters were the backup band. And
right.
He had a hit called "Right Place, Wrong Time." I was in the right place.
Oh, that was Dr. John. Yeah.
Yeah. But Alan Toussaint had written all these hits for all these other artists. And
Toussaint. I mean, I cannot believe that in one night you saw the Meters, Toussaint backed by the Meters, Dr. John backed by the Meters, and Professor Longhair. Did he play solo or did he play with the band?
No, he played with the band.
Wow.
He was backed by the Meters also, and I became friends later on. I moved down to Orange Beach, Alabama, and had a house gig at a place called the Perdido Beach Resort in 2015.
Right.
And I had a pretty good paying house gig, and that's before I moved to Spain. But we would go to New Orleans every chance we get, and I got to become friends with his daughter, Patricia Bird. Yeah, long story there, but yeah.
We talking about Patricia's Professor Longhair's daughter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What are her memories of her dad?
Oh man, she had. She loved him, and she kind of has a Professor Longhair museum in her house.
Wow.
And,
wow.
And she keeps his memory alive, and she she loved her dad. She took care of him, and
When did that was the when did you connect with the Meters did you work with them?
I worked with them one time in Dallas with Buster Brown.
That's right.
And then when I moved to California, Zigaboo, the drummer for the Meters, moved to Oakland, where I was living at the time. I bought a house in 1997, and Zigaboo moved there right around the same time. Zigaboo was the drummer for the Meters.
Oh, of course, dude.
And I got to play in this band.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait. So he remembered you from back with Uncle Rainbow, or how did you connect with him?
I'm not really sure. I'm sure I met him, and we there was that after maybe 30 or 40 years.
So who was in that band?
Gosh, I can't remember. Maybe I did 4 or 5 gigs with him.
That is what was that like playing with him, man? That is so great.
He used to come in one of the clubs we played. I had a band with Garth Weber and Peter Boris and
wow.
I can't remember the bass player. Yeah, you remember Garth? Yeah, you just.
I mean, I just interviewed him.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Zigaboo would come in and sit in with us. Man, he was the loudest drummer I ever heard besides the drummer for Sly.
Oh, Gregorico?
Gregorico, yeah, man.
Gregorico can pound. Yeah, so Zig pounded that hard, huh?
Man, he was loud. In a small club, too.
Wow.
He was great. And I did a few sections with him. And, I did a song. No, I did a whole album with him. It's called On the Right Track. And Dr. John came in. Dr. John was playing Yoshi's, and Dr. John did a guest appearance on Zigaboo's album. Wow. And it's called Welcome to New Orleans. And Dr. John borrowed my piano, and I was playing clavinet on the track that he was playing on. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, that is so cool.
Different times, yeah.
Yeah, it just speaks.
So I've been in the New Orleans thing probably a while. Probably around since I heard the Dr. John Gumbo album in 1973. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that psychedelic cover, the meters are on that. It's always been, that rhythm has always been fascinating to me. Tell me a little bit about your where you need to grow the most as a musician or as a person.
Well, yeah, I'm getting more into songwriting. I always have been. I think some of my early songs were not up to snuff. I mean,
right. I mean, you're grow. How do you feel like you're growing in that sense?
Well, just I think lyrically, I had different people write the lyrics for me.
Right.
Some of the better ones. And, yeah, I hear melodies in my dreams, and I'll wake up sometimes and just write them down or just.
So you do. So I love that you'll wake up in the middle of the night and not to, so you won't, so you can remember it. You write it down right there.
I do it. I wrote a song for my wife Maria, and I ran down into my studio. It was like 5, 6 in the morning, and I was like, it was a song like na 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 na. It was like real. It was like a movie song or something. And I ran down to my studio, and the computer was already on. So I just played the melody so I wouldn't forget it.
Right.
I wrote the lyrics later, but yeah, I think my lyrics have gotten better. Just much more topical. A bit political sometimes, and just.
What kind of issues are you passionate about?
Oh man, climate change.
Yeah.
Democracy.
Sure.
And just the world. What's going on in the world?
Yeah, no, I remember. I got to send you my interview with Mac because it'll bring a tear to your eye because we had such a great conversation, and he opened up by talking about the damage we're doing to grandmother Earth. And
oh man, I'm writing one. It's called what's the I'll send it to you when it's done.
Absolutely. No, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
That FM broadcast you sent me, dude. I can't wait to listen to that radio broadcast.
Yeah, that radio show. Yeah, there's some good tunes on that.
Yeah, man.
The one we did, I wrote it the night Elvis died, and Elvis. I met Elvis when I was 6 years old, 5 years old, I think it was. In Memphis, and he was living a couple doors down from my aunt and uncle. He bought his first home when he sold his contract to RCA.
Right.
And anyway, but yeah.
Wait, hold on. So, because I've been lately connected. I've connected with the guy who played bass for him later in the '70s, Norbert Putnam, great bass player.
Oh, that's where I knew the name from. Yeah, I've got to hear all these different.
Yeah, no, I mean so much, and he did you like Like Elvis loved to eat. Did you ever have like burgers over and hang out with him at all?
You know what? I mean, I was only, 6 years old?
Yeah, I know. You were a kid.
And,
Yeah.
and my two brothers, I would just, he signed some autographs, jump on his Harley, and took off. But I was waiting like for a couple hours, and hoping he would come home, And I had to pee something fierce, and so I asked Vernon Presley, his dad, if I could come in and use the bathroom. So, and this was a funny story.
Hold on, hold on. What was his dad like, man?
His dad, well, I didn't know much about him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I knew about him.
You asked to take a piss in his house. Yeah, no, that's about it.
Yeah. And I said, you mind if I could check out Elvis's room? I mean, it was. I mean, he was living at home. He was living.
Oh my God, this is insane.
Yeah, this is before he bought Graceland. Yeah.
This is and so he had just done like one record, maybe or two couple records.
He had just signed with RCA, but before that, he was on a small label called Sun Records.
He was on Sun. He was on Sun. Is that true?
Yeah, Sun Records. Yeah, Memphis. Yeah.
And I thought that was, God, it's all. Yeah, that's right. He was on Sun. And so, and he was already sort of. So, what was the song? Talk about the song you wrote for him on the night he passed.
Look, I wrote a song called "Life Is in the Living." Life is in the living. Don't throw your dreams away or whatever. It wasn't about Elvis. It was just about, he died at age 42.
Right.
Same age as Freddie King. 42. Wow. My God. And the song was, "It's not your destination, it's your journey down the road." It's about kind of what the story was. And somehow Eddie Kendricks got a hold of it and recorded on one of his albums.
Are you? You just sent me that this morning. That you sent me that message.
Yeah.
That is so. Yeah. How that to me is legacy, man. Like the idea that some badass like Eddie Kendricks wants to do a cover of a John Lee Sanders tune. It's just the coolest thing in the world.
That was you know what? It was produced by Johnny Sandlin.
Oh my God! No, man. I interviewed Paul Hornsby from the Almond Joys. Going way back.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So Sandlin produced a Kendricks album.
Yeah, and that was one of the cuts that didn't make it to the album. I mean, you can only put maybe 7 or 8 songs on vinyl. So that was one of the ones that didn't. Make
it didn't. So it was. Stayed on the shelf.
Yeah, but he sent me a tape. It was a great recording. Oh my God,
Do you have it? I got to hear that. You have it digitized? I'd love to hear that.
It's on SoundCloud, but I'll send you a link to it.
Hey, John Lee, I gotta go get my kids, so we gotta wrap up part 2. But after the new year, let's do another set.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it, man. Yeah.
Hey, man, it's always good. I really appreciate your vibe and keep it happening, man.
I will. You too, man. I'm looking forward to all these different.
I'm gonna send you a bunch that are. It's just crazy the 6 degrees of separation on this journey. So I know you know all about that.
Yeah, that was. I don't know how that happened. It was just one of the things, But
yeah, I don't need to spend too much time thinking about it. Just try to live life, like you said, like the song for Elvis.
Yeah, I will.
All right, man. We'll be in touch. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Be cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.